Okay, today. So, do velocity stacks on inlets actually make a difference? So, what I did today was I flowed a 4-inch tube, so like 95 millimeter MAF housing, and I flowed it without anything on the inlet with a bell mouth velocity stack and then with one of our screen race style filters on it to show the difference, show if it actually matters. I moved about 600 horsepower worth of air through it, which is about 1,800 kilograms an hour, about 55 pounds a minute, kind of thing. So when I flowed the tube by itself, it was 13 inches of water. Can you get in there? 13 inches of water at about 1,900 kilograms an hour. So in normal terms, that's about 0.5 psi of restriction at the inlet of your throttle body. So by adding that MAF, flowing that much air, you're adding about half a psi of restriction. So the next thing we did is we flowed the same amount of air through one of our new PMAS turbo inlets, which is pretty much a velocity stack with flanges on it, so you can add filters and things like that and just bolt them on. At that same flow, it was 0.28 psi or 7.8 inches of water. So in layman's terms, that's quite a bit of difference. So DA, that would be like running your car at 1,000 feet less of density altitude, or 1,000 feet less of altitude. So that's up to you. To me, that's considerable. So by putting a velocity stack on the front of this tube at only 600 horsepower, it made that much of a difference. So restriction goes up exponentially with flow. So the more air you're trying to put through that 4-inch tube, the bigger difference it will make by having something like a velocity stack on the end of it to decrease restriction. One last test we did over here was, I'll show that screen real quick. We added one of those wire-only screens to the velocity stack to show how much of a difference that made on top of the velocity stack. And the inlet pressure went from 0.28 psi or 7.8 inches of water to 0.3 psi and 8.9 inches of water. So it added a tiny bit of restriction, but that's almost like nothing. So adding that screen really didn't do a whole lot onto it as far as restriction. But so I mean, I guess it's up to you. But to answer the question, yeah, velocity stacks make a massive difference. So yeah, going from 0.5 psi restriction and lowering that all the way down to 0.8 just by putting a velocity stack on the front of a 4-inch tube. So yeah, big difference. It's like 1,000 feet in DA. So